Some may also say it's the friction of the tires moving against the ground.
Aerodynamics has something to do with the air around the car. By having an aerodynamic design, you allow air to be pushed through in optimal levels, and the car flows through with less amount of gas needed.
Diesel is more effective than gasoline engines. The amount of power that the engine creates also determines the fuel economy. The size and weight of a vehicle directly affects its fuel efficiency. Bigger vehicles are heavier, which means it needs more energy and power to run.
A small degree of acceleration means a vehicle will be able to run smoothly at a distance, and the engine will function at a lower intensity for a prolonged standard speed.
Speed. The momentum needs to be transferred across the road or car boundary. On the other hand, if by motion you mean kinetic energy, that's a different story. Given a supply of momentum, the car most certainly can create its own kinetic energy by processes internal to the car. The kinetic energy is not created from scratch, but it is converted from other forms. If you have electrical energy on board, perhaps in the form of batteries, you can convert it to kinetic energy. If you have chemical energy on board, perhaps in the form of gasoline plus oxidizer, you can convert it to kinetic energy. Horsepower. Horsepower measures how much force the engine can apply to a car in a given amount of time. It is a measurement of power which is measured in joules per second or watts. The equation for instantaneous power is power equals force times velocity for an object moving in a straight line. This formula is the reason an engine can be rated for a specific horsepower despite being mounted in a number of cars with varying masses. Car weight. When a car is lighter, then less force is required to move the car. This is based on the formula force equals mass times acceleration, or acceleration equals force divided by mass. So, when the mass of the car decreases, the acceleration increases, or less force is required to accelerate the lighter car. Energy efficiency. Only about 14 to 30% of the energy from the fuel you put in a conventional vehicle is used to move it down the road, depending on the drive cycle. The rest of the energy is lost to engine and driveline inefficiencies or used to power accessories. Diesel engines are generally more fuel efficient. For powering similarly sized vehicle, a diesel engine is about 15 to 25% better on fuel efficiency than a petrol engine. But diesel engines emit more unburned particles called respirable suspended particulate or RSP and exhaust gas, which could be more harmful to people's health.
Hybrid cars. A hybrid car is a vehicle that uses two or more types of power, such as internal combustion engine plus electric motor. Hybrid cars are fuel efficient because it has the capacity to collect and reuse energy that a normal car would waste. Advantages of hybrid cars are the following. First is it's environment friendly. Hybrid cars have better gas mileage and runs on twin-powered engines. These engines help in reducing fuel consumption and at the same time conserve energy. The second is it reduces dependence on foreign oil. We tend to be over-dependent on foreign oil, which makes us vulnerable to market volatility due to the manipulation and price shocks. Having hybrid cars eliminates that. Lastly, it is built with lighter materials. Hybrid cars are usually smaller than an average car. This means less and lighter materials are being used, which means it will require less energy to run.
Although fuel cell cars are powered by oxygen from the air and compressed hydrogen and emit only water and heat, it is still impractical because it requires the use of non-renewable energy in the process of making hydrogen. Moreover, it is not a good source of energy because it is highly flammable and difficult to produce and transport, making the cost of it high.